Warning, you are listening to an adult podcast talking about adult topics. You have definitely been warned.
All right, buddy. Welcome back to the next episode of the Hoppy Craftsmen. This week with me is Brandon, like always, and
Nate
Libby.
Nate Libby, yeah.
Hi, Nate
it's
Libby.
Just Nate.
Nate M. Libby, because the other one's way cooler.
Back to hang out again with you guys.
Glad to have you back, Nate.
Yep.
So Nate has actually been doing some blogging for us.
I have. I've stayed healthy so that I could perform the work for Hoppy Craftsmen. Yeah, we did. We went over to 12 West Brewing and we did a review on that a little bit. At least what I could remember. Those flights get along.
Yeah, right.
Along, especially when you follow them up with full size pours. So
Very cool. So 12 West itself, building pretty cool. I mean, I've seen pictures online, but not really. I haven't been there myself yet. So
it's sweet. It's part of the Barn One Craftsman community.
is it Barn One or Barn None?
It might be Barnone. I'm not really sure. I've got many pronunciations at this point. But Barn One, Bar One. Yeah, that's right. Barn One. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not really sure. But it's a sweet little place full of all kinds of different little craftsman shops. Yeah, it's a nice little bar.
So a lot more details in the article, right? So kind of go in depth a little bit more into that.
Yep, absolutely.
Rate some of the beers. Did you try it? Or?
Yeah, I tried many of the beers. Not as many as I would have liked, but at least as many as I could fit in. There were definitely some standouts. There's some good beer.
Which do you want to save it for the article, or what was your favorite one?
Save for the article. With Front Side IPA was great. Get down there. They got a Belgian blonde or a blonde ale, the Swifty.
Right.
It's good.
Fresh Prince of
Bel Ale. They've got some good ones. Names alone, they're up there at the top.
Right.
But at least they got some good beer to back it too.
Very nice. And then the other thing you want to talk about is your Lost Abbey cooler.
Yep.
And I would love for you. You told us off air the story of how this actually came in your possession, and I'd love for everybody to listen to that same story.
Oh, absolutely. I follow Lost Abbey and Port Brewing on Instagram. Obviously, I saw them posting about this, and they kept showing pictures of it and teasing it, and then finally it went online on I'm not really sure. Late before Christmas, 20th, something like that, 18th, 19th. Bought it immediately. Okay. Had to have it. Was like, it's okay. This is a good purchase. It felt like a good investment at the time.
So, what is it that you actually bought?
It is a cooler. It's a beer cooler from Lost Abbey with Lost Abbey branding. It's a sweet cooler. It can hold 6 of their normal bottles. Okay. And then it can be reconfigured to hold 750 milliliter pints, whatever. But regardless, they shipped it super soon. I felt really bad, so I wrapped it up and gave it to myself on Christmas. Even put from Santa to Nate. My wife was super thrilled.
It's the season of giving, right?
It was Christmas to me, and it was one of the best gifts I got.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's got a multifunctional organizer that you can, like Nate said, either carry 6 bombers in or take out the middles and have 2 side pouches for different things. Yep. Nate's got a couple different ice pack coolers in here. So he brought over, I believe it was 4 different beers and had still plenty of room with the ice pack
way
coolers
too much
in
room.
here.
There's a nice little... Brandon, go ahead.
Mesh zipper pocket at the top.
Mesh is the word.
in the top. There's 2 flap button pockets on the front that Nate's holding the lanyard to carry it over your shoulder strap. It's very nice. Well put together cooler.
The fabric is really nice on it. It's a nice quality piece, and it's only $45. I thought
that's a good deal.
I thought I'm not. This feels like real leather. And this up on top here, and it's nice. So I recommend it.
Highly functional, good Christmas present to yourself.
Check out some photos on the Hoppy Craftsmen blog.
Yeah, Nate will go definitely in more detail and some pictures, and you can see
up there.
Some links to the site, I'm sure, if they have any left in stock. Hopefully,
there's a link on there as well. It's $45, and it is still up right now. So go, at least as of today, the 29th.
Of December.
Let's date this podcast.
Dates are irrelevant.
Yeah. So.
Very cool.
Yep, Merry Christmas to me.
Right, so, and actually I'm wearing a Christmas gift to myself. Well, actually, not myself. My wife bought this for me, so thank you. Or Santa. It did say Santa on it as well, so he's been really nice to us beer people.
And really keeping up the myth.
I have a beer zombie. shirt on from them.
As you were giving them plugs
like
a couple episodes ago about all their Instagram posts and the merchandise that they offer up. And it's a very nice, kind of looks like Beatle-ish, this shirt.
It's the Black Flag logo, but it's actually one of the stripes is actually the Beer Zombie's face logo.
Yeah, I'm digging that hop beard.
Yeah, right. Isn't that nice?
The hops
So
beard.
it's really funny that so either my wife listens to our podcast, which I find unlikely maybe, but she got all the hints that
Mine
dropped.
unfortunately does.
Oh, nice. Hey, Caitlin.
Yeah.
Stop trying to private chat me.
It's getting awkward.
real quick. So we are drinking one of Brandon's beers right now. What are we drinking, Brandon?
This is the Avery. It's part of their new Botanical and Barrels series. Their Tangerine Quad, which is aged in bourbon barrels. And I know Nate's not the hugest fan of those bourbon barrel aged ones, but
I am a fan of quads.
yes, I mean this one is it's a nice Belgian style quad ale with tangerine peels, and then like I said, aged in those bourbon barrels. Rates in at a 10.1% alcohol by volume. Yeah, really smooth. Nice floral bouquet of those tangerines. Yeah, I'd probably give that right there about a 3.7 or so on the Untapped.
Yeah, the tangerine's not like crazy overpowering it at all. I mean, it's there, I think, and it's definitely in the
smell,
the aroma. Yeah, you first smell it, you're like, oh yeah, there's a little tangerine to it. But as far as like the taste of it, I'm not getting a lot from it.
I get the bourbon.
I get the bourbon, and it's barrel aged. It doesn't bother me. It's a barrel aged. I like Belgian beers. I like quads, and the tangerine. I'm not a fan of flavors like that, but that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that beer. I'd like that beer after like 2 or 3 other beers. Getting in and put that on top of it. Really, just start to.
So you want to kill your palate first before you have to taste what this tastes like.
Yeah,
now at least you get to taste it in the first place.
No, it's really good.
Yeah, it is very smooth.
So this is part of their Botanical series. This is the series that's replacing the Demons and Angels series.
Yeah,
right?
I believe we brought it up a few episodes back as well. That some of their more staples are going away, and they're bringing out this Botanical series. One of the ones, the original ones that came out was the Vanilla Bean Stout, and now this was second or third in line. I'm not sure which, but just new to us here in Phoenix in the Valley.
I don't know if the Raspberry Sour one was. Because they had a raspberry too, right? That was like this. I don't know if that's actually part of the same botanical line or not.
It might be. Like I said, I don't know if it's the third, second or third in the line or whatever it rates. The next one that I've seen available to us, at least out here,
cool.
Under this new Botanical and Barrels series. So
doing the green foil at the top there. That's nice.
Oh, I like it.
Changing it up.
I'm a fan of green. No, this is a good beer. This is a good beer this time of year. Warms you up.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Indeed.
So that being said, we talked earlier. We kind of want to do kind of a beard review, if you will. Some of the stuff we talked about, basically some of the beers that we enjoyed this year, and some of the things that we didn't really enjoy this year for beers. I know it's kind of a thing right now. Everybody's kind of doing it. It's going to be the new year when everybody's listening to this. It's started to be 2017, so hopefully the world's still around. It hasn't blown up at New Year's.
We have until the 20th until everything starts getting shitty, batshit crazy.
It's not Y2016K, right?
Yeah.
Until that guy takes office for the first day. That's when we have to start worrying.
Oh, the Drumpf.
Yeah, my birthday.
Good luck with that.
Actually, it's the 20th, right?
The 20th.
Yeah, my birthday's the 21st. Okay, we're all set there.
Something like that.
So everybody listening, make sure you buy Nate a present, or go on the Hoppy Craftsmen and leave him a message commenting about his birthday and his
and how much you appreciate me.
We'll give you a nice little toast on your birthday.
Oh, perfect. I was thinking about someone gave me a Four Peaks gift card for Christmas, and I was going to give it here. I was going to bring it here and give it away to some listener.
Well, you don't want to go to Four Peaks?
You can still do that.
I don't want to use it. I'm going to do that, and I'm not sure if it's for 25 or 50. It was unmarked.
Well, that would be good details to have when we actually post the episode.
I don't want it regardless.
I think either way, it'd be actually better. Like this is
this is your problem.
Figure it out.
It could be either a 40-cent gift card from Four Peaks or 50. I don't know, either one. Somewhere between 0 and 50.
It's whatever the balance is that he didn't use.
Yeah.
How much is minus one 4-pack of pumpkin porter?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, can I just get all that to go?
Yeah, pass this over. Give me some more of this beer.
Go get some Four Peaks food because that's what they're good at now.
Yeah.
All right, that's 100% true. So, Brandon, do you want to start off with some of your favorite beers of this year?
I will. Yeah, absolutely. I was actually in the bottle shop this morning and kind of walking around and checking out just everything that was available. And, I knew we were thinking about doing this year in review. And two of the ones that actually caught my eye that were still available were that I really enjoyed. Two different styles of beer were actually, first of which the Dogfish Head Beer de Provence, which was their lavender saison.
Okay.
It was it is an 8.3%. It came out right around the summertime, and just a very smooth saison, not too bold as some of the other farmhouse style saisons are, but really had a nice floral bouquet with the lavender. So that was one of my first picks for my favorite for this year. The second one was Stone's Americano Stout. And I'm a big coffee guy. And when they brought this out in the early spring, it was around February or so, just really enjoyed it. It really tasted like a nice, just smooth coffee stout. Not too many, bold flavors coming at you left or right or anything. Just really smooth in being a double imperial stout. Ranked it at 8.7%, and I gave that one a 4 out of 5 on Untapped, and the Dogfish I gave a 4.5 out of 5 on Untapped. So
nice.
Those were probably my favorite 2 for the year. But I mean, that was just going back and seeing those in the bottle shop today. I mean, there's probably others that I could throw in there.
Right.
So drank so many beers this year. But those were the 2 that stood out to me.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, so I can't remember if I've had the lavender or not. I definitely had the Americano. I like that a lot too from Stone. Mm-hmm. Again, love coffee, love things that taste like coffee. So that was definitely up there on my higher on my list as well.
Right. I actually got a repost for a Instagram picture that I did for the Americano Stout. Stone actually reposted my picture as a representation of their beer. So that was actually a nice thing, to kick back to the consumer. It's like, hey, we like your picture, and we're going to use it as our, promotion for our beer. So that was awesome. Kind of cool too.
Very good. Then Nate, I'm sure you have prices buttload.
I don't have any beers to knock. I'll be honest.
All right. So the next thing we're gonna do, you don't have any beers for what beers you didn't like.
Oh, we haven't done that yet. Sorry, my bad. But the beers I liked.
Spoiler alert, people.
I went to Cellar Maker this year in San Francisco, and I'm like a super sucker for those beers in California like that. And so I had some really great beer out there. But just keeping it what you can buy at the store, what you can buy here. Who did the Mosaic IPA? St. Archer. I mean, I think that was really good. Freaking great beer. Every time I see a 6-pack of that, it might pass by, my hand just gravitates towards it because it's a really good beer, and I had a lot of it this year. But other than that, there's been a couple others.
Right. I mean, that's the thing is that usually, I mean, I've had people, and I'm sure you guys have, people are like, oh, what's your favorite beer then? Or what's your favorite? And it's like asking, it's asking somebody to pick
answer.
Like their child, like, hey, what's your favorite child? And we only have one each. So at this point, it might be one or none.
And we drink at a lot of breweries.
Right.
We drink at a lot of breweries, and you feel, and we could do a local, we could keep it local like that, but it's hard to throw those out there too because, I mean.
Right. It's like, what's your favorite style or what's your favorite brewery or I've learned something in the last 2 years. It's the phrase, it depends.
It's dependent upon the season, dependent upon the beer, there's so many different factors. Yeah, it's so hard to
going through and narrowing it down was really tough too. I mean, Brent and I talked about this off air. We scrolled through on Untapped just to kind of get refreshers of what we actually did drink throughout the year, and it was just like, oh, I forgot I even drank that earlier this year. Just kept going and kept getting. So there was definitely a lot of beers. So I mean that's understandable why.
Yeah, it's a lot of beer we drink in a year.
Yeah,
364 days it's been now. 636, 63 days.
Like I said, if these two
don't do math.
if these two had
400 days in a year. Now.
If those two that I mentioned hadn't caught my eye in the bottle shop this morning, I don't know if I would have been able to pinpoint. Two or three specific beers, for that matter, which ones would have been my favorite for just this year alone.
I'd also just give Modern Times a holler for all the beer they've dropped in 2016 and expanding their, where they're going to. Coming out here to Arizona. I mean, they're bringing a lot of good beer. I remember going to San Diego 3 years ago just to buy Modern Times. Mm-hmm. Now I can go to the corner store, and that's pretty sweet. Yep. And they're packing good beer in those cans.
They have two current...
we're going to be drinking some here tonight, but they have some good beer.
They have two current facilities right now in San Diego, and they're opening a third in Encinitas next spring.
Yep,
and then they're hoping to open Anaheim and Los Angeles location here within the future. So
it's good freaking beer. I remember walking in, like I said, San Diego, just seeing the way they do their descriptions on the front, hoppy, juicy IPA. It's like, that's what I want.
Plus, it's so cool that on their website for their staple beers, at least, they list their recipes.
Yeah.
So how to make them. So if you're a home brewer and you want to, make their, City of the Sun or what Blazing Worlds or what have you, those recipes are on the website for you. So you can try to make those and replicate them yourselves. Not that they would be exactly, but I mean,
absolutely
for the brewers at home to try to just make their own.
It's inspiration. I mean, that's how it works.
Now I'm thirsty, so I'll be right back.
You get some more beer? All right, so I'm gonna go into mine, and I scrolled through my Untapped, and I basically looked at the rankings, what I ranked them, and then even more so, I still was like, even though I ranked one the highest, I was like, I kept scrolling, and I picked ones that weren't technically ranked the highest, and then actually I picked one that was ranked a little bit lower that I actually had, and I remember I love it. So my thing kind of went, a lot of the beers I had, and I think it's because they were new. I went to Portland, and I actually tried a couple new breweries from Portland that we couldn't get here. And at the time, we can actually get Cascade here. We've actually been getting some Cascade for a while, but we're actually getting a lot more lately, which is kind of crazy. But Cascade actually had a live barrel of what's called Pineapple Tango. So Cascade, for the most part, is all sour beers. All they do is sour beers. They age everything. If you get into a bottle of it, it's always a year aged, right? Even the brewery itself, all their casks are a year, at least. And then they go into basically 2013, 2014, and it gets crazy. Prices of Cascade anywhere from about $25 up to about $40 a bottle. Bigger bottles, a little nicer, but the Pineapple Tango they actually had on cask, so it was actually hand tapped, which is really cool. The thing they do at Cascade, they actually have people come in for kind of, I don't know if it's a contest or what they do, but they come in and they actually hand tap the keg for them.
Oh, nice.
Which is really cool.
Firkin style.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cool, man. And so they do, the Pineapple Tango was just like this super, super, super sour beer. It like hurt my cheeks. It was so sour. then it finished with a really fruity sweetness because of the pineapple. But it was a phenomenal beer. I loved it. 7.5%, so not crazy high, but yeah, just real, real good. So another one of the beers I liked though was actually from Cartel, which evidently is the shop now, right? They changed their name.
I think so, yeah. At least for their beer line, they changed their name
Right.
from Cartel Coffee to the shop.
The shop.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Welcome back, sir.
That's good because
thanks,
I was
Nate.
always very confused on where to go to get their beer.
So they released a beer. It was called FYITM. It was an acronym, right? So yeah, what do you guys think that actually stands for? FYITM.
For your in... I don't know. For your... I don't know.
That's pretty close.
Immediate.
Ooh,
For your
ooh.
immediate tasting
Ooh,
something. I don't know.
No, so the official term or the acronym for it is 5 years in the making Imperial Pale Ale.
There it is.
So 5 years in the making.
Oh, so not even close is what you meant by close?
Close, but not.
Super far
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. So
He wanted to make you feel better.
So that's
about
the official. Thanks, guys. That's the official name. The unofficial, what everybody calls it, is actually "fuck you in the mouth." Imperial IPA.
Boom.
Which that's what I actually prefer more.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
And that's what it does. It really just fucks you in the mouth. It's delicious. It's a
You said it's an IPA?
yep.
I want it.
It's
I
yeah.
want it. So,
Lots of hops. 6
I'd
different
be
hops
happy
in
if
there.
they did that to me with
Lots
a
of
nice
malts.
IPA.
10.1, 100
Oh.
IBUs.
So an Imperial, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What, 100?
100 IBUs, which
Nice.
that's probably one of the reasons I loved it. It's funny, I rated it actually like a 4, and I had it again recently, and I was just like, why did I rate the beer so
Super
low?
intrigued.
So weird.
Going back, you re-rated it higher, so like cut the difference.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to go rate this a little higher now.
Yeah, that
I'm
sounds
bump this
good.
up. So that was one of them, and then yeah, it was hard to figure out a third kind of thing.
Well-
but what I did was the Distill Sour series. Pretty much all the Distill Sours I had this year have
Enjoyed
been
those.
really good. Yeah,
I
so the
enjoyed
plum,
those.
the
The plum.
cherry. I mean, all of them. The hopped. There's a hop sour they had. There's a smoked goze they had.
Hop sour, sign me up.
That was amazing.
Speaking of hops, we're on our next taste. Modern Times Beer, Orderville. All right, this is the next taster for this going around right now. Read the words describing it, Brandon.
It is a dank mosaic IPA.
And it is freaking good. Smell it.
You would
smell it.
Panama Red.
It smells like an IPA.
It just smells like hops.
That's their.
Yeah.
That's that West Coast IPA right there.
And it's good. And Modern Times knows what they're doing, and they're shipping beers with that kind of hoppy smell and flavor, and just bite.
That is your atypical West Coast IPA right there.
I don't know if there's anything typical. I don't know.
Well, I'm in
confused.
comparison to
not very
like
smart.
Green Flash, like their West Coast IPA, literally named West Coast IPA,
Absolutely.
is that right there. This Modern Times Orderville is basically the Green Flash West Coast IPA.
And it's a focus on Mosaic, and I drink a lot of West Coast IPA, so I find a little less malt to it. But I like it when there's less of a little less malt backbone, because it makes it possible for the hops to just.
It definitely has more obviously hops. Yeah, the Mosaic, and then a bunch of dank varieties is what it says on the back.
And it smells dank. It's a good beer.
It definitely smells like an IPA. Like some IPAs, there's that
I used
floral.
to drive to, like I said, I bring it up 1,000 times. But I used to drive for beers like this, and now they're just getting shipped here, and I couldn't be any happier.
Yeah, we are very fortunate in this
nice time.
moment in time. This was bottled way back on September 20th.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Feels like forever ago.
Oh, that's old.
3 months ago.
That's fucking old for an IPA.
Right. I mean, that's crazy old.
Was it really?
Yeah, it's bottled on 9/20.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it still holds its flavor.
Oh, yeah. It's got a nice hoppy burp to it. That's my secret rating for all beers that I enjoy. I'm a hophead.
So we've known Nate for a long time. Nate actually has like these weird secret things that he does for places. He has rating systems that nobody else uses, which is amazing. He has a really good rating system for Chinese food places.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was like, wait, what are you talking about? Because it's perfectly normal to me.
Right.
How good is it? How good is the dumpling?
if
you know how good the dumpling is, and if it's a good dumpling, and if they've got a good dumpling sauce, go back.
Right.
Always go back. Where's that one place we've never been back because it was the only good thing apparently?
Yeah.
But all I had was dumplings, so it's all that matters. Szechuan, something like that.
I don't know. It's some
Szechuan Palace.
It felt like some old person place on a university.
It was.
Yeah.
No. But they had great dumplings.
Their sauce is amazing.
I
remember their
sauce.
I remember their sauce.
So, per the dumpling rule, that is a place you need to go back to.
So dumpling rules, burp rule,
Hop burps.
Whoa.
Excuse me, hoppy burps. I apologize.
Reel it in.
Hop burps.
hop burps.
So
Dank burps.
hop yelling burps. So no, it's good stuff.
Dank.
Hoppy is where it's at for me, and I love that beer.
Yeah. I like it. It's 7.2%.
Is it?
This is close to a 4 for me.
Dank Mosaic IPA. I love the little descriptions the way Modern Times does it.
Dank.
Good job, Modern Times.
It's funny. I like
love
this.
you.
Their standard lineup of beers have this kind of like the same look to them.
Yep.
I love what their off beers that they do, like the high frequency, the blam
Yes.
blam. All those ones have a different can. It's
I didn't get any of those.
80s.
Didn't you have some of
Goblin
those? Didn't you have some of those? Did you bring
I
any
do
back
have
with you?
the Blam Blam, actually.
You have it here?
I do.
Fuck.
Saving that
Brandon.
for a special occasion, though.
This is pretty special. How many cans do you have? We're going to talk about this later.
All right.
How many cans do you have?
2.
Oh, I got money. Well, I'll drink it with you. I just need a sip.
Nate wants favors.
I just need sips. Yeah. Brandon wants favors. For Blam Blam.
So I'm okay. Looking back to the beers, the best beers. The other one I actually said was Adam from the Wood. So the place was called Hair of the Dog from Portland, right? Sometimes they actually do a collab with Deschutes. It's called Collage 2. The only way we see their beer here is kind of in that form. They actually rarely bottle their beers. And if they do, they're actually sold at the brewery themselves. When I was there, I was fortunate to actually get 2 bottles of an IPA. It was a Blue Dot IPA from them. And I can't remember what the other one was, but I drank both of them. Sorry, you guys never tried any of them.
I'm still having a hard time getting over the fact that Brandon has a Blam Blam in his fridge.
Yeah, he does.
This is a beer tasting show.
And we got a lot of beer in there
And
to
that's
taste.
the edge of tasting right there. That's on the very tip. The tip, just for a second.
Jesus.
So I'm gonna be working that angle pretty hard.
Sorry. Calm down.
It's not that I won't let you try them, Nate. It's that I would like to save them for another special occasion. So it will be here for your taste and enjoyment.
Just gotta take a deep breath.
Yeah. Breathe. I just got it back from my parents because I couldn't even bring it back from San Diego myself, Nate.
Wow, your parents have willpower.
I know, right?
You wouldn't have gotten any.
My dad does not like IPAs, so that's why.
That's nice.
But
That's good.
One day I will let you experience the juice bomb that is the Blam Blam.
My heart's pumping.
He's got juiced. So the Adam from the Wood, Jesus Christ,
sorry,
Nate,
my
hijacking
bad.
stuff. No, the
That's what I
Adam.
do, hijack.
2 things that Hair of the Dog does. They age a lot of their beers in wood, and they actually age a lot of their beers in stone.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right. And so when I first, I didn't know what this place was. When I was there in Portland, people were like, you have to go check out Hair of the Dog. And I was like, I never even heard of this brewery. So we ended up going. All their beers are actually named after people that worked at the brewery. So Adam and Fred, and it's pretty crazy. So Adam from the Wood is actually a wood aged beer. It's 12%. right? And so it says right here.
Yep. Released in 2000.
Yep, 2011 is actually when this one was released. But first it was in 2000.
Okay, no, I have good eyesight.
Caramel, brown sugar, tons of raisins and tobacco, which that's 100% true. They actually had an atom with chewing tobacco. It was even more tobacco-y. It was really good. But fig, plum.
Actually.
So the atom from the wood, they had aged in wood with white peaches. And like the bartender was like, oh, I have this cherry atom, or it was a cherry Fred. And then we have a white peach atom. And I was just like, I don't know if I want either one of those. She's like, I'll give you tasters.
Nice.
And she put the two down, and there's no way I would have told you that the atom was the one that I liked the most when I first picked it up. Because it was like white peaches, and I'm thinking of an IPA.
Yeah, no, you were losing me at white peaches.
Right, I was like, and so then she put down both of them, and I tried the white peaches one, and it was super dark.
Nice.
It was delicious. It was the most amazing beer ever.
Good stuff.
And I never would have thought it. So it was a pleasant surprise to actually have
mind
that
open.
Beer. Right, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we actually start getting their beers here. If they do stuff, I don't know. But that was one I liked a lot. It's just one of those things, like I said, I was on training in Portland, and so I had hit
that's right.
a bunch of beer places up, and that was one of them. So
Nice.
it was very fun to check that place out.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds good. Now you want me, and I'm thirsty for that now. So
Sorry,
we got to stop talking about beers I can't have.
we'll go to
Look at Brandon with the stain.
He's gave him the stink eye.
Give him the stinky leg.
Whoa, leg or eye?
Stinky eye. Stink eyes. Stinky leg's a dance. He's gonna get the stinky leg later.
If you would have got up and just gave him the stinky leg, I would have recorded it and put it on YouTube. And that would have been our first video.
Perfect. Stinky leg. Perfect.
So Nate hinted to it earlier. Bad beers. What you didn't have a bad beer? You couldn't find out?
I've had bad beers.
Okay, so
I've had bad beers. I just don't know what I've had bad this year. And I also 9 times out of 10 when I think to myself when I think when a beer's bad, I just think I'm wrong. There's so many beers out there that got made for a reason. They had people that tasted them and liked them long before I drank it. I'm just like, hey, that wasn't my cup of tea usually.
It's like the last time we were on the show, all the beers that we brought that people loved that you hated.
Exactly.
Yeah, all those beers, and you were all wrong. So
exactly, and I was wrong then. So
that's why
that's a proven fact.
That's why Nate reviews beer gear and not the beers themselves.
Yeah.
No,
I'm wrong.
No, I mean that's the thing is that there's, you're not wrong. You just have a different taste than everybody else does. And Brandon and I actually have pretty similar taste in beers. We kind of split in some areas, but for the most part, they're pretty. I think the overlap's very large. Mm-hmm. You, on the other hand, do not. You're.
We have a couple that overlap, but no, me and you typically had to, when we go to the beer places, me and you diverge a little.
We split up.
We try to stay together, but there's some differences for sure.
You're my buddy, so we hold hands, and I keep track of where you're at, and you keep track of where I'm at.
We skip a lot.
Yep. It's amazing. The buddy system. Make sure you're using it, people.
And in the next buddy system.
So, Brandon, what was your worst beer? So he doesn't have one. Do you think of one?
I'll think of one.
Well, I couldn't actually think of one beer that really actually stood out that was just terrible for me. But as Chris mentioned, going back through our Untaps and looking at our rating systems, I found one that was the lowest rated for me, which was Northwest Brewing Co.'s Mango Weizen. And I rated it at
that doesn't sound very good.
Nope.
I don't remember why I picked up the bottle. I saw that I drank it at home, so at some point I had to have purchased
so you're feeling adventurous.
Ooh, mango.
I must have,
just like, let's try some shit.
It was probably one of those where I was at Total Wine and I was just filling up a sixer, and for whatever reason it caught my eye. But I was definitely it was an at home tasting experience. I rated it at 1.5 out of 5. So it was low on the spectrum for everything that I tried last year.
That's really low.
It was a 5.3%, like I said, Mango Weizen. So I think from what I can recall, there was really there were no notes on my Untapped, but most likely just way too fruity and more along the lines of probably like a Blue Moon style, like with really just a Hefeweizen with fruit in it.
Right. I mean, that seems. I mean, it could be the mango. Maybe you're intrigued by the mango, maybe, or something.
I don't really, like I said, I don't remember picking it up or why I picked it up. But I had the bottle of it here, tried it. So, whatever reason, maybe it's just not good.
It was one of those 118 fucking temperature days in Phoenix and was like, man, go and have a Weizen, let's do this.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It was in the middle of July, so probably was like, okay, this is probably going to be refreshing, but I think it was probably more too fruity, too sweet for my palate and just really not enjoyable at all. So that was my worst beer, if you will, for this year, by ranking off of my Untapped. But I mean, there's other beers that I was not fond of. In general, just there's other beers that I could probably rattle off that I was not a fan of. That's just going to be every year. There's always going to be something you don't like.
I have the memory and opposite of an elephant, so I forget very quickly. And what is the opposite of an elephant, Chris? What
mouse?
Forget something immediately after you tell it?
A gerbil?
Yeah, I have the memory of a gerbil then. Because honestly, the last bad beer I remember having was the beers I drank last week.
Yeah, you have a goldfish. That's what it is.
Yeah,
a goldfish.
That's it, a goldfish. No,
man.
honestly, that's the last bad beer I remember tasting. Because I just looked at my Untapped and I couldn't find anything under a 4-star. So obviously, I'm pretty selective in either what I drink or I'm a fanboy and decide if I drank it, it's good.
If it's Untapped worthy, it's always high.
It's honestly.
Right.
So
the one beer that I chose, and like I said, there was 2 on there. There was 2 beers that came up that were pretty low scored on my Untapped, and the one was actually Historic's Cucumber. I can't remember. It was like cucumber, whatever. Saison, was it? Farmhouse Ale? I remember. It wasn't very good. It was just, it's kind of the same along the lines maybe what yours was. It was just a lot of cucumber. It tasted like I was drinking, like, basically just squeeze a cucumber into my mouth and having it, which I love cucumbers, but that just doesn't seem right in my beer.
So watery?
Yeah, it was really watery and just...
it was very Scottsdale trendy with the cucumber and the water.
Right, exactly. It was...
that sounds appealing.
Some crazy bitches be drinking at brunch.
Yeah.
So, I don't want any of that shit. So it was
some bromosas.
Know a few of those.
Yeah, but the number one beer that was awful, and I rated the lowest on Untapped, was best damn root beer in the world.
You only did that for the badge.
No, I did it for the badge. Well, I did
it for the badge.
I did.
I did do it for the badge.
My new T-shirt.
I did it for the badge.
That's my new T-shirt. It's gonna be that.
I did it for the badge.
So, but like I did it for the badge, and I bought it. And I was like, "Well, I love root beer. This should be pretty good. Let's try this." And it was
epic fail.
Yeah, it was fucking awful. I put it in the fridge for a bit, and I was just like, "Oh, it should be all right now." And I opened it up, I drink one, and it was semi-cold.
It was just called Best Damn Root Beer.
Yeah,
based off the name, it sounds pretty good.
You'd think, right? It's like it's fucking false advertising or some shit.
It's like the Elf. This is the best cup of coffee in New York. The best cup of coffee in the world.
Yeah, yeah. It's fucking awful. It was fucking horrible. And then I was like, oh, maybe it's just because I drink it was a little warm still, and I fucking put it in the freezer and drink it again. It was still fucking bad. It was awful. And I know people.
So it was bad.
You should have stuck some ice cream in it.
Even that would have been a good float, probably.
It probably would have made
it was like,
decent.
oh, this tastes like root beer, and then the worst fucking cheap booze hooch aftertaste ever in the world.
No.
It was. There's people who love it.
Glad I never took a dive on that. Sounds terrible.
Yeah, there's like the best damn root beer and the ginger beer, and then I actually found out later on that the people that made that are the same people that make Four Loko. So
there you go.
Makes sense.
That solves that equation.
And we mysteriously have a new beer in front of us.
We do have a mysterious new beer for us.
It's another one of Nate's beers that he brought. So I will let Nate introduce it because he's kind of got a hard up for this one.
We're just going to drink all of Nate's beers.
I do have a hard up. I don't have a hard up. I just live near them, and they make a lot of good beer. But speaking of Roosevelt, the Roosevelt IPA from Arizona Wilderness does come out today. They tapped it today.
So if this was a live
Roosevelt
stream,
double IPA, that's not what we're drinking, by the way.
No. I was going to say, if this was a live stream, that'd be amazing.
Yes.
But since they won't hear this until next week,
sorry, it'll already be sold out.
Yeah, you guys just missed out on the Roosevelt double IPA. You sorry sacks of shit. No, I'm just kidding.
So get on Instagram, follow these fucking people.
Yeah.
That's what you do, right? Follow us, follow fucking Wilderness.
Follow Wilderness, follow us, follow the Hoppy Craftsmen, most importantly.
Not the Hoppy Craftsmen, just Hoppy Craftsmen.
Hoppy Craftsmen.
See, I didn't do it this time.
That's nice.
That was Nate that did it.
God damn it, Nate.
Well, we are. Okay, never mind.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm nothing.
We are Hoppy Craftsmen, not
all right.
the Hoppy. It's
Listen,
confusing.
peanut brittle ale. We're drinking the peanut brittle ale from Arizona Wilderness, and yeah, it's you know what? First and foremost, before we even get how it tastes, just take a big old whiff of it. Well, Brandon's knee deep in it. So
I already
Brandon
took a
knows
whiff and drank and smelled.
smell those nuts, man. Seriously though,
when can you ever say that and get away with it on a beer show?
I'm still on my chair. Nobody's on their knees in front of Nate right now.
Dude, I mean, the nutty flavor on that, the peanut smell
brittle
on that, the
ale.
peanut brittle smell on that, just off the top of it. That's crazy how they do that. I mean, I'm sure, and apparently someone was telling me at 12 West, they were telling me that Patrick's mom used to make him peanut brittle, bring it in. Apparently it's very good. I'm not even sure that's the names are correct, but one of the brewer's moms used to make a lot of peanut brittle. But it was a quick conversation. But yeah, it was. Like I said, the smell on it, it's just nuts.
It says this beer was created after Jonathan tried Mama Ware's annual peanut brittle. Mama Ware, maybe.
There we go, Mama Ware.
Yeah.
Whoever.
The resulting beer is a salty, sweet ale with caramel sweetness and peanutty goodness that complements the holiday craze.
It's a sipper.
Yeah. Imagine a world where waking up that special holiday morning wasn't about feverishly, goddamn, I can't read. Feverishly opening presents, scavenge away from a Black Friday war zone, but a day filled with a smell, luxury we can all afford.
Hey.
Great beer and great people to share it with. Happy holidays.
Whoa! And now I need a beer after suffering through that description.
I apologize. I'm not wearing my glasses, my readers.
Readers.
I had to.
Sorry,
I had
guys,
to
I don't have my cheaters
squint
on.
through it, but no. This is. I went to Wilderness last week when they were getting ready to have their can release party. This was actually a can that Nate brought over. I got a pint of it on tap. Yeah. It tastes as good as it does out of the can as it does on tap, and it's if you like peanut brittle, this is the beer for you.
It does. I mean, it's this is the kind of beer that's going to accompany some dessert or meal super well. You know what I mean? Like some chef could work with the flavors in this beer and make some sort of awesome meal to go with it their next dinner. I'm sure. I'm sure that's the plan.
It's probably definitely a dessert at the end. It's a really. I think it's a sipper, and not because it's high alcohol, but you sip it.
It's sweet.
You just get that real good flavor out of it when you don't sit there. If you sit there and gulp it, you're just going to taste a little ale and you're going to get some peanut at the end. But you get some. But like I said, sip it. It tastes real good.
Oh yeah,
it tastes real good.
Thank you for bringing it. We do appreciate it, and obviously, we appreciate good beer, good local beer. And Arizona Wilderness is just killing it. As we've said before, Arizona Wilderness is as with the rest of the craft breweries here. Then they're all doing a great job with their
there's some
own
killer
unique
breweries. Scottsdale Brewing, killer. 8-Bit, killer. Bren House. I mean, the list goes on.
Helton Brewery,
Santan,
Santan Brewery, Oso Brewery.
You guys heard of Richter? Richter
damn near killed her.
When I was at 12 West,
Sandback will be here all week, folks.
When I was at 12 West, I had a Mick Fate collaboration called Mick Richter, I think it was called. Mick Fate, and I think it was Richter Aleworks. Don't quote me, but it was freaking good.
So 12 West had other beers on tap?
They had a few other beers. And they had a Helton Brew on tap as well. They had a Helton Brew. But they had a few other, and one was that Mick Fate collab, and it was damn good. So that's off topic, but drink local, and Arizona Wilderness is as local as it gets. But regardless, that is a good beer. I like seasonal beers like that.
It's very drinkable. I mean, for a 7%, it's very drinkable. Yeah. Like you said, you're not going to sit there and chug a 32-ounce can.
If you chug it, you might as well drink something else.
Right. Yeah. But I mean,
personally, that's my elitist opinion.
But for a sweet holiday, nutty beer
Smell the nuts.
Smell the nut.
That's his shirt right there, Wilderness. Peanut brittle ale. Smell them nuts.
Taking it into the wilderness, smelling the nuts.
Smell them nuts. Take a whiff of them nuts.
But I can imagine that they, with we did their pecan pie porter a few weeks back. And I can only imagine that with this as like the pecan pie porter, they were just pouring peanuts.
Exactly. You just imagine them chucking big plates full of peanut brittle into the mash, and that's what you see.
Yeah. You think they went to that guy's mom and was like,
that's what they did.
I need you to ramp this up. I need you to ramp your production up 100 times because we're going to make lots of beer.
Either that or, just basically had the basic ingredients for peanut brittle and
I'm
threw it into the mash. I don't know if it was actual chunks of peanut brittle, but I mean,
they literally every year they make that.
That's a lot of peanut brittle.
Every time they make that pistacho pie, they just make full pies.
I know
with
that.
the dough, and
I know
they just
that.
chuck them in. So I wouldn't be surprised. But either way, you're right. It's got all those little flavors in it, and it's a darn good beer.
And that's what makes it good. Unique to Arizona. Like
It tastes
I'm sure
so much like peanuts, though. It's crazy they got that peanut flavor in there.
Yeah.
And it's natural. They didn't sit there and do additives. They didn't sit there and put some crap in that beer to make it taste like peanuts.
Right.
They put peanuts in it.
They probably went out and actually picked peanuts.
Yeah, they went out and got some peanuts and made some peanut brittle, or like you
They're
said,
all about
use
supporting
some
local
elements.
and using local farm fresh
It is a good
ingredients.
beer,
And
No, I pretend that there's a little old lady in front of her friggin' kitchen at home just making peanut brittle, and then was like, "Hey, Grandma, we're gonna have to."
Yeah,
then she's like, "Mom, my back hurts, my fingers hurts." Then it's like, "Oh, you spilled landscape duty." So,
all right, Ben Stiller.
got landscape duty.
Stop it.
boom.
Just stop.
So two things. There's a beer from Australia called. God damn, it was. I just had it. Oh, Nut King Cole, which is
Nut King Cole. Perfect.
I typed in nut, and that's the first thing that came up on Untappd, which is great.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Well, that's kind of like that Superstition meadery that has all the berry white line. So it's the berry white strawberry mead, berry white blueberry mead, which we've tried several of these, but it's the berry white
Perfect.
line.
Nailed it.
They're
Pun
delicious.
on words.
Nailed it.
That's what we do.
Yeah, nerds love wordplay. That's how it works. We do.
I guess so.
You're not a nerd. Is that what you're trying to say? Cool.
I am.
Weird.
Yes.
So, as far as things that are going on for us, actually, I wrote down a couple things for T-shirts. Maybe. So I said the T-shirt for
Taste those nuts. Taste those nuts.
That's what I want to say is
It writes
Hoppy Craftsmen.
itself.
Taste those nuts.
So
Can you taste it?
I did it for the badge, and then
Do you
yours.
smell it?
Sorry. I feel like there's like a Limp Biscuit fucking.
Limp Biscuit?
Like I did it for the nookie, but I did it for the I did it for the badge.
I
Kind
did
of
it for
fucking
the badge. Yeah.
yeah, kind of weird thing going on there.
Yes.
And then yours was it smell those nuts?
Smell those nuts.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I wrote down.
Peanut brittle ale. Smell them nuts.
I didn't give a shit about that. I literally just
Hoppy Craftsmen. Smell those nuts.
smell those nuts.
Can you smell it?
Boom. So I mean that's kind of so that's some of the things we've been talking about. We've been talking about doing. I always say it fucking wrong. Is it patron or patron?
That's your thing. But
Are you talking about a person? Like
Nope.
patrons to a store?
No. So there's actually a website.
Or tequila?
Jesus. Nope.
That
not
would be
either.
Patron.
That's Patron.
See, well, you said patron or patron, and I just defined both. So what the fuck are you talking about?
I think it's patron.
Patron. So the idea with Patron is that you can actually help support what we do and actually help us buy gear and everything else. And it's it's more like
important then.
it's basically a monthly service fee where you basically have a subscription. You sign up, you get access to content or whatever files and things, and if we have contests, you get early access to the contests or those kind of things. You actually get something for actually helping us out, subscribing.
Ooh, like a pass to come drink with us one night.
Right? Yeah.
That sounds boring.
Or even a pass to come talk with us on the podcast.
No, what's going to happen is that some lucky listener will actually come drink some Blam Blam with Brandon, and then Nate won't be here.
Mother effers. I'm not dealing with this shit. I'm out of here.
I just want to pull them out of the refrigerator and hold them in front of you.
You should pull one out of the refrigerator and pour that thing.
Jesus.
This is the Hoppy Craftsmen.
I'm gonna pull it out. All right.
This is the Hoppy Craftsmen. We're going to be on the cutting edge of tasting with that beer and the lineup. We're sitting here tasting week-old beers. I'm bringing the most up-to-date beers to this table, and I'm not even a full-on Hoppy Craftsman.
Up to date.
I'm a fucking additive.
No,
I bring articles to the table and
Contributor.
in words. Contributor.
You're a
Thank you.
contributor.
Additive.
You're a Hoppy journeyman.
A Hoppy journeyman. Exactly.
You're a Hoppy
I'm a
Crafts child.
I'm a Hoppy disgusted. is
You're a
what I
Hoppy
am.
Crafts child.
Ouch.
You're to be matured.
I worked on it, guys. I tried to get him to drink it with us, but he won't. Just the 12 hours.
I'm not saying you won't have it or we won't have
We gotta
it.
drink it now. It's only going every minute. Every time a minute goes by, a little bit of that hoppy goodness just comes flying out of it.
The juice bomb is getting less
It's
juicy.
getting less juicy. It's Christmas. You don't have to buy me a Christmas. You don't have to buy me a birthday gift. I'm going to invite you to my 30th birthday, and you don't have to get me a 30th
birthday.
Yeah,
You're turning 30.
I know.
Dick.
Do you feel old?
Yeah, I just did. I'm turning 37 in March.
You started hanging out with me when I was like 25. I'm turning 30 on January 21st, and you don't have to buy me anything. You just have to let me drink 4 ounces of Blam Blam.
All right. Well, on January.
Oh, all right, fine. I'll take that.
When we're all drinking to the end of the world, I will.
The end of the world. That's the day after. That's the fucking. Supposedly.
There'll be fallout. Nothing's going to happen in Arizona the first day.
Oh, no. Arizona's very red. We'll be good to go.
Yeah. So.
Anyway. Sorry, Brent. Chris, that got off sidetracked real quick, but. Yeah, I turned 30 on January 21st. The day you planned your next movie night, by the way. Great timing.
So we're gonna celebrate to you then.
No, I'll be sitting second row at a hockey game that night. So unfortunately, I won't be there.
Because Nate is a reformed Arizona Coyotes fan.
Yeah, I am, and I never did a review for the Yotes Pale, but it's coming, guys. I forgot my tasting notes. Is what happened. Can't write an article about fucking nothing, it turns out.
Evidently, your memory's not as good as it used to be, huh?
Yeah, you can't write an article based on a photo anymore.
You can't Seinfeld it, write an article about nothing?
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
So weird.
It's a show about nothing.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't get nothing.
All right, guys, sorry.
Jesus. So, we're talking about...
Hey, that was a great derail. Hey.
So the idea is that we're going to start actually producing things.
We want money.
Well, we would like people to help support the show, and one way to be able to do that is to actually give them the ability to subscribe, actually do a monthly subscription, and actually give them access to behind the scenes footage maybe, or a live chat. And I know I haven't
talked to you guys about this, but I'm going to be doing some stuff with my wife here, and we're going to get some Hoppy Craftsmen glasses going.
Excellent.
I know we haven't even talked to you. I haven't even talked to either of you about this, but
it's licensing.
I'm talking about getting some nice Hoppy Craftsmen pint glasses going. You get something like that going for the old listeners.
At the bottom, it should say, smell the nuts.
How's it smell? Yeah, that's nice, Brandon, but I'm going bigger. I'm going logos.
Whoa.
That is nice, though. I like that.
That's really nice.
But, honestly, things like that would be good.
Right,
but
exactly.
Yeah.
So, early access to buy, content or buy, discounts on actually stuff that we're actually selling in our store. Oh, yeah. Those kind of things. So,
all depends on how much you give us.
Exactly. That's
you give us a good amount of money, you're going to get yourself a glass.
It's pretty much... You just described exactly how that system works. It's the Kickstarter, but it's a monthly service fee. Yeah. So,
and I'm sure there's very reasonable, very small prices to help keep this show going.
Right. Yeah. So it's anywhere from we can set prices. I mean, so it's gonna be we're definitely gonna start out with.
It's not a money grab. It's just about keeping some quality content going.
Exactly.
That's the important part.
This
genuinely,
show,
that's the important part.
All this stuff costs money. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. All the equipment, our time, all this stuff costs money. So
it doesn't cost me any money, but I notice there's new shit here every time I get here.
There really is,
and I figure someone's paying for that.
Yeah, it wasn't Santa Claus this year, so
yeah.
But that's the idea. Is they'll basically get new stuff for us, get better stuff for us,
and it helps create that quality content we want to bring to these listeners.
And the idea is actually keep it going. So I mean, there's things we want to do this coming year. That's we're going to do. So one of the things we actually have planned is we're going to go to historic brewing and actually brew a beer with them.
Nice.
We're actually going to do a podcast from there, record, and do some behind the scenes, maybe some footage from them. So that'd be kind of cool. Ooh. We're definitely going to Strong Beer Fest this year. Brian and I both got tickets.
Are we getting ultra VIPs?
No, we just got VIP.
Just the VIP.
Loser.
Didn't want to spend an extra $25, although the Fast Pass thing is kind of intriguing.
Yeah. I won't let you upgrade at the door.
My wife will get me the super ultimate VIP. I know it because she doesn't want a real ticket, so we just basically lop it all together into my ticket.
Makes sense.
She gets the $10 ticket. Last year they gave her VIP tickets anyway. Heads up, Arizona Craft Brewers Guild. They're trying to save you money.
It's very true.
But DDs get in with VIP, but
they did. But they gave her tickets.
Yeah,
they gave her tickets and a glass, and we appreciated it. Don't get us wrong.
Still pregnant?
I also appreciate it.
Yes, don't get me wrong. She didn't use any of them. But I believe me and Chris and you guys did. So, and I believe I've got a whole sheet left over. So
we did. So the other things we want to do, so besides Beer Fest, I mean, at some point we'd actually love to go to the American Craft Beer Festival in Colorado.
Ooh,
that'd be a good time to go.
Big.
Right, that's the big one.
That's thinking big.
At some point, we actually going to need some way to get there. We're going to actually need support or help to be able to get there and actually see the convention itself, or even just be in Colorado during the convention time.
Absolutely.
So these things cost money. Your help will help us out. So, we're talking about those kind of things. Beer Fest. Go to Flagstaff. Maybe do a podcast. Where there's a lot of things that we want to do.
That reminds me, Chris. I haven't another thing I haven't mentioned to you guys. I'll just bring it up during the podcast. Is we need to do a Arizona, just a valley-wide bar crawl. We need to get out to 8-Bit. We need to get up to some of these breweries that are like up in Surprise. There's a lot of breweries we haven't been to all across the valley.
Prescott.
So we need to.
I've been to Prescott.
Well, we're not going to include Prescott. I'm talking a nice. We can get up Prescott at some point, but I'm talking this, valley-wide. Just hit 5 or 6 breweries in a day. I need to get over to Wren House. Need to get over to a bunch of breweries.
Wren House is good. It's a nice tap room.
Haven't been to 8-Bit. Need to get to 8-Bit.
Right.
So we need to. Hoppy Craftsmen need to go on a trip together. They need to go on a little day road trip.
Okay, drink beer. Okay.
Yep.
This is funny. Actually,
we'll bring our little microphones along and talk about it each way we go.
There's actually a thing I saw online was a YouTube video where it was basically a group of people that got into a bus, an RV, and they actually drove a beer tour from, I want to say, started in California, drove to Colorado, and then up to Washington, and they actually went to a bunch of different breweries along the way. It was actually pretty cool. So
that's a long ass time to be with people.
Oh, right.
I don't know if I can stand you guys. I mean, like 5 hours with you guys.
Yeah. I'm talking about an 8-hour trip.
Yeah, I mean, a couple days, that's going to get smelly quick.
But I think that the idea is, so as far as what you're saying,
Nate, you're talking about.
I think we should do something like that. I think we should actually do some kind of pub crawl or some kind of whatever.
Yeah, local pub crawl would be a lot of fun, and there's enough breweries out there to put on the list.
But my thought is we should do it as a video series, though.
Ooh, I like it.
So I think
very cute, but
sitting down and actually doing what we're doing currently would be a little weird, or weird in that format. But I think a video format would be a little better. Maybe we'll actually do a contest or have somebody come along with us and actually have a listener come actually drink beer with us.
As long as they're cool enough,
right?
Just kidding. You don't have to be cool. I'm not cool. Chris isn't cool.
You're not selling this for us, Nate. You're not doing a good job.
They know we're cool. They're listening to us talk. We got to keep it. We're being modest.
They can't get a sarcasm.
It's always
that's true. Okay, sorry. Chris is very cool.
The thing that always gets Chris is when he's like, "Oh my god, we just got to download tomorrow." So whoever's listening to us in Australia, this shout out's for you.
Thank you. Thank you every time. I get so excited.
Chris is like, we got to download on the 26th, and it's the 25th. That's awesome.
I feel like a time traveler when that happens. This is the amazingest thing ever. I'm like, somehow I'm talking to them tomorrow and it's fucking today. This is amazing.
They're listening to it before we even recorded it.
Tell us what happens.
Right.
Tell us what happens.
Yeah. How was it? Was it good? Because we won't even record it if it wasn't.
So part of that, like the video series, the video, maybe beer crawl or something like that. Right. I also want to do some kind of video how-tos. Like actually talk about proper glassware, proper pouring, proper tasting, those kind of things.
Hard pours.
Yeah, right.
A lot of beers call for that, and you don't really do it that often. Just really letting it breathe.
Well, any nitro beer. Any beer that's actually kind of like a nitro.
Yeah, exactly.
That's nitro stout. Those kind of things. Hard
pour
pours.
It hard.
Yeah, you got to pour hard. You're supposed to. So, basically kind of like educate the masses like we talked about a long time ago. We actually, one of the things that I love doing is educating people about craft beer and how to use craft beer, how to drink craft beer, getting the initial sticker value or shock out of the way, or there's so much jargon and so much things going on. I want to kind of get some of that out of the way and do it in a video series, which would be kind of fun for all this. So that we actually basically utilize YouTube a lot more. So
YouTube, not YouTube.
YouTube.
I know we're gonna utilize YouTube as well.
I was like, Chris is just throwing Nate and I.
Goddamn Bono.
Chris is like, I could really do this without you guys, so I'm going to utilize you two more.
Yeah, exactly.
I need you guys to do a lot more on the show.
Hello.
I drink. I mean, what more do you want from me?
That's all I need. I need you to drink and talk. That's it.
Sweet.
So, and then,
Done.
and then without probably saying, we're going to do a lot more remote podcasts from places. We actually already have like 2 or 3 places that actually want us to come do a podcast at their establishments. So that's pretty cool.
2 different bottle shops, actually. So competing over our business.
Boom.
Who's this?
Bottle Shop 48 and Liquor Express.
What?
Both have actually said we can actually come to do a podcast from there.
Doesn't that guy
so.
Jeff work at one of those?
Nope.
Okay, good. All right, good. Because I'm pretty sure I thought I said something bad about some guy named Jeff last time we were on a podcast, and I didn't mean it if I did. So
I don't know
who Jeff is, but you're a good dude wherever you are.
Thanks, Jeff.
We do have a friend, Jeff, that has been blowing us off for doing a podcast with us.
No, it's a different person.
Now he's got fucking searching on Facebook like 1,000 times.
No, whoops. Not said it's too
It's
late.
all good.
Edit it.
Not
Anyway.
Beth Checking.
Edit here. Click, click, click.
But yes, more remote episodes, more industry, probably interviews from the people actually in the industry.
Absolutely.
So definitely a lot more blog posts, I'm guessing, Nate.
Oh, yeah.
Looking at you mostly.
Many blog posts, absolutely.
Tasting notes.
It really, you can feel the Hoppy Craftsmen ramping up.
You know what? I think you might help
to get some blogs going.
You might help your memory a lot for those beer tasting things you do.
Yeah.
A tasting notebook from 3 Sheets Books.
From where?
3 Sheets Books.
3 Sheets Books. So do they sponsor us?
Well, they don't sponsor us. They actually gave us a sample to actually look through and actually use their stuff.
Then
so
3 Sheets.
It's pretty awesome.
3 Sheet Books it is then.
Hold on. I have it with me. I'll get it. I'll show you.
Perfect. Yeah. No, I do need to take some. I do need to bring along a little something. At least I need to be looking at my phone when I go out of these tasters because I went to 12 West and I had like 8 beers that day, and I did not do a very good job.
You should have utilized your untap a little bit more. And, it's a hard thing when you're not familiar with doing it. Then, you really just...
I've got a ton of beers on there.
It's an awesome tool to just be able to note things. You don't necessarily have to write a review for everyone, but as long as you rate the beer...
little notes.
But, rate the beer at least.
Oh, wow, this is straight up a beer tasting.
Oh, yeah.
That little notebook has everything in it.
It's beautiful.
No,
IBUs and ABVs and...
3 sheets? Okay.
3 sheets.
Yeah, I'll totally score one of those. No, you're absolutely right. And I used to use Untapped a ton, but I always I never used it well. So I do need to use it more.
That's why everything was a 4 for you.
Exactly. That was what I was implying, but I wasn't going to say it. And so, no, I do need to be tasting these because I got a lot to say about a lot of good beers in the Valley. I just need to remember it.
That's the problem. And that's what's nice about this book is that you actually can have something written down. I mean, that's the thing is even with Untapped, the idea is that even if you put a 4 down, put something down.
Well, you need taster note. You need tasting notes. You know what I mean? You don't need to. You don't want to sit on every Untapped post and be like, it was dry. It had a nice strong malt backbone. It was, it was fruity. It was aromatic. You don't want to be putting that on every single Untapped post. But you want to put in a book if you're trying to write a little review of it afterward. You want to know. You want to remember.
Right. But I think it's also after
making sure we get that done.
After you get to like 4 or 5 beers in, sometimes I know it's real hard to start checking stuff in.
That's where the bartender even at the time, and I forgot his name. I know his brother, but
his name was Jeff.
Brother from another mother.
No, you guys did a podcast with him. He actually talked about you guys at the time. You guys did a podcast with him, and
Moses.
Yes, yep. He was there, and he was talking to me, and he actually put the Miho or the triple. They had a triple IPA, Moji, I think it was something like that.
Oh yeah, the Moji. Yep.
They had a triple IPA, and it was sweet, and it was like he said, it was a palate killer. And by the time I got to it, I mean, it was just. We just flew down because it couldn't even taste anymore. So,
right, I think that's what it is.
It doesn't matter at a certain point how much water you're pounding in between there. You get to a certain point where it's really hard to just discern.
Get anything. Yeah, get anything from the beer besides the beer itself.
And just as a side note, drink responsibly.
Bring a DD.
Always take a DD with you, or
Uber,
buy an Uber or Lyft, or
bring your wife, bring your loved one.
Impregnate your wife and then make her drive you around for 9 months.
She doesn't even feel like drinking anymore. It's perfect.
It's great. It's totally great.
No, take tasting notes because it's important stuff. 3 sheets. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah, good guy, man. It actually is customized. He actually customized a 6-pack I brought from Chicago.
Oh, is that what that is?
So
That's sweet.
If you have a Pliny box, you could probably give it to him and he'd make you one.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's
really good stuff, man.
Blam box.
There are no Blam boxes. They only come in 4-packs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll make you a Blam
I didn't even
box.
get to taste it on tap when I was there. I only had to buy a 4-pack.
That's what all the hip breweries are doing. They're doing these little pint 4-packs, and there's so many breweries across the United States.
You know what? I love...
Don't ship their beer out here, and I need to taste it.
I love...
You need it in your mouth, just like smelling your nuts?
The Other Half Brewing, they're in New York, and they drop an amazing looking beer once a month, and I just can't have any of them.
Dude, Half Acre makes some really cool looking beers too.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that the 6-pack has actually been pulling into, instead of being the plastic ring thing that you always see, it's actually this hard plastic fucking like full topper with a handle from everybody. Love that shit. Yeah, it's so much better than actually the fucking loopy crazy shit. So we're drinking a new beer now.
Yeah,
so
new beer. Been on a new beer for a few minutes.
This is my beer. I brought this beer. The reason I picked this beer up today was I was perusing the internet like normal, and I saw an article about the top IPAs in America, and they separated it by state. And of course, I fucking skipped right to
Dragoon,
right to Arizona.
Third one down the list.
Yeah, it was I clicked like 4 times. It's fucking hard work. And then because I was like, what do you think our best IPA is? And it was fucking this Dragoon.
That's our best?
According to them, this is the best IPA from Arizona.
Well, they're absolutely wrong, but it is good.
You're right. That's what I thought too.
It couldn't be any wronger, but it is
Well,
good.
what would you consider the best then, Nate?
It's totally subjective and opinionated, so in my opinion, they're wrong. But
I got 2 full cans over here.
Well, but what would you consider the best?
I don't know. This is going to sound super fanboyish, but it's not Wilderness. I'm not kidding.
Not the Refuge?
I'm not kidding. That frontside IPA from 12 West was effing good.
Oh, there's
It
yeah,
was
sorry.
out of control
That
good.
one? Okay.
It was super damn good.
Yeah,
And like I said in my little review on it, I could go on about it forever, but I'd rather just drink like 6 of them.
perfect.
It was damn good. So that, in my opinion, right now, but like it's just, it's not the best, but I'd put several ahead of it. Because of the Wren House, their Wren House IPA.
Fatality?
Is that what it is called?
No, that's
For McFate's.
That's McFate.
Fatality.
McFate. Oh yeah, absolutely. No, totally. McFate all day.
Tower
Killer
Station.
beer.
Tower Station IPA.
Tower Station.
Absolutely. I mean, there's many beers that
like-
are above the Dragoon
Exactly.
in my eyes.
Exactly
It's a
what you
little
said.
skunky.
Exactly what you said. Subjective. But
is.
for me, this is amazing because Dragoon is from Tucson, my home city.
I hear you there.
It's great that actually Tucson has been blowing up recently with the amount of craft breweries that they do have
they're
down
doing
there, and for Dragoon to get on that list of
Yeah.
the best IPA, because I feel like recently Four Peaks had been dominating basically every category.
Also bullshit. I mean, Dragoon's neck and head and shoulders above the beer coming out of there.
Exactly. So just for
sorry, my opinion.
No. But but for more of a small batch brewery out of Tucson to be recognized nationally.
Oh yeah,
Of
big
having
deal.
the best IPA. Maybe eventually.
That puts Wilderness into perspective. Best new brewery in the world in 2015.
Right.
Hype or not? I mean, hype or not? Hype carries a certain level, but
Sure.
it's still good.
And
Sorry,
I mean,
continue.
no. I mean, Dragoon's been around for a while in Tucson, but for them to be recognized as one of the best IPAs for 2016 is just another feather in the cap for them.
It's a
maybe,
feather in the cap for Arizona, like you're saying.
Oh yeah, well, any
Honestly.
IPA, obviously any IPA, but I mean, like the Tower Station IPA from Flagstaff. Maybe it's just because it's from Flagstaff. Not that Flagstaff is bad, but it's not as well known or traveled as
In the
Tucson or
last-
Phoenix.
Yeah. In the last year, I've seen so many good IPAs come up. I mean, 8-Bit has. We were at the beer fest. 8-Bit had that killer double. Right. Scottsdale's got a killer double.
Oh, yeah.
Scottsdale Beer Company's got some freaking killer beer.
You have to have a good IPA though
the
to be
bar
a brewery.
is raised.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But there were so many okay, like you said, Four Peaks was on top, and that was the most mediocre okay. The Raj IPA is great. It's okay. It's
I was just
okay
meaning
to me.
more in general of like they were like dominating every category.
They were. No, I totally agree.
They were the top craft brewery for
They were
Arizona at
biggest.
the time.
They were biggest, but now it doesn't matter how big your clientele is anymore.
Right.
Right. I think that's what my thought was too when I first saw this on their listing was that I don't think Dragoon's probably the best IPA. I think it's the best well-distributed IPA, maybe. That's why they are able to say this.
Totally.
And, it was one of the things where it's like, yeah, there's so many other
It's
IPAs.
good. I mean, don't get us wrong.
It's not,
fucking
right.
good.
Yeah, right.
It's a good beer, and if you put up a bunch of IPAs and then you could have the Dragoon, I'd be like, give me the Dragoon.
So on the
all day.
side of the Dragoon can, they actually go into 7.3%, right? 83 IBUs, which is really cool. They actually list the SRM. So do you know what the SRM actually is?
I should know.
You should. I actually have it on my screen. You probably read it.
Brewer, no.
It says the standard reference method, which actually I didn't know what SRM stood for, but I know what it is. Okay. It's basically the clarity of the beer. So it's the lightness. We talked about the light test forever ago or the last episode, but basically you hit a flashlight with it.
Right.
The idea with the SRM is basically you go from the very lowest, lightest color to the very darkest color of beer.
So this is a 10 on
This
that
is a 10 on that scale.
And it's very clear.
It is
I'm
clear.
holding it up to the light, and it's very clear.
Very, very filtered. It's a very filtered beer. Also, as Nate actually pointed out earlier on the Modern Times beers, not on the front of the can, but on the side of the can, that they actually do point out it's bright, it's hoppy, and it's dank.
Love it.
So-
See. I didn't see that.
It's
I wouldn't say it's as dank as
Well, there
that.
you go.
Modern Times that we did have earlier, the older barrel.
No, that was different.
I mean,
Right,
it is a smooth IPA.
I smell what they're referring to. You know, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. It's just a little different.
For the non-hoppy beer IPA drinkers, this is a very smooth IPA.
It might even be pretty high level. I mean, for a non-IPA drinker, but because this is.
But I mean, it doesn't leave that lingering aftertaste that a lot of IPAs leave, too.
Yeah, they don't really list the IBUs in there. I'd be interested with the IBU on this
Yeah,
would
I'd
be.
agree with that.
Right.
I mean, I could talk about IPAs in Arizona all day.
That's
really
true.
could.
It's true.
We could.
Like I said, for me, being a Tucson boy, I was born and raised in Tucson.
I couldn't
to
disagree
see
with you.
Dragoon,
Yeah.
get
that made me
recognized
proud.
nationally like that.
Maine Beer
it's amazing.
Company. I totally agree. I'm from Maine Beer Company. They're getting recognized. I mean, it makes you proud. But no, this is a damn good beer, and they should be proud of it.
Oh yeah.
So I mean,
And it's in a can.
what are you gonna do? But no, we're so lucky as folks from Arizona to have just crazy amount of options now. I mean,
and that's a good thing and a bad thing too. It
is.
There's almost too many
because
options.
you say things like, "Oh, Dragoon IPA is not a good IPA." Well, bullshit. It's a great IPA.
If you
but
didn't
you've
know
had-
any better,
but you've had several other ones you really like.
right.
So it's it's all perspective, but they're in a pool of really great beers and I really great IPAs in Arizona.
Sure.
They definitely
And it could
they're
be just
definitely
one
in
of
that
those
group.
things where it's because they can it. It's one of those beers that's available
Yeah.
for like those bottle
beer sharing,
beer
yeah.
beer shares or
Shipment,
those
all that.
online beer sales
Yeah.
where you can actually buy this beer. So somebody
Yeah.
that's maybe rating this beer in New York was actually able to buy this beer.
and and that's awesome because you can't do that enough.
Right.
And nothing makes me angrier than following some brewery on Instagram that I can't have their beer. So good for Dragoon.
Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that they are. It's just maybe that might been might have been
point.
a.
Yeah. Let's not say they are online. I'm just assuming, but yeah, no.
If they do have that ability because they are canning now in this fashion that they can distribute or can sell online to that fashion that somebody was able to rank them
because of glass.
right.
Cool.
But no, good for Dragoon.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
It's a killer beer. Like I said, if in a group of really great beers, that one stands tall.
right. It's again, like you said earlier, it's a nod to Arizona, their craft beer that they're making right now.
Yeah.
I mean, this year, not a lot from the Great American Beer Fest. I think Historic won one gold medal. Not anybody else did. I don't think Wilson even went there this year.
Yeah.
I didn't see them post anything. So it's great. Again, they're breeding in competition. Right, there's a lot of good competition at the top of this West Coast IPA, so
it's
that's
killer.
awesome, and it's good for us, right? Because we actually get a lot more beer. So,
like I said, I used to have to drive too long to find beers like this, and in the last 3 years, they are just popping up.
where the
They're
West Coast is moving a little bit
It is.
inland, huh?
It's moving east, and it's getting good.
So another local people that actually start canning some beers is Lumberyard. So we've seen Lumberyard here before.
Seen some glass, right?
No, they've been cans.
Oh, they okay? All right.
Yeah,
Excuse me. My
they
bad.
had cans with.
don't know anything.
Yeah, was it their
Hefeweizen's been
Hefeweizen.
in can.
I haven't really seen a whole lot of anything else from them, right? So they are proud to release. There you go. The third can in their series, which is the Snowboard Scotch Ale. So holiday season Scotch Ale.
Scotch.
Right, dark red, malty, fucking ale. So 8%, 16 IBUs,
Yeah.
12-ounce can, 6-packs. Should be hitting the belly pretty
on
soon.
paper, it's not a Nate beer, but good for another Arizona beer.
Right, so they was it the naughty. I think the Naughty Pine Pale Ale is one of them, and then the Hefeweizen I've seen before in cans.
That's right. They have the Naughty Pine.
Right, so basically cool to see that the
It just sounds weird, Naughty Pine.
Naughty Pine,
But it's
You naughty pine.
they are
Yeah,
lumberyard,
naughty.
so naughty.
Yeah.
Getting all those knots.
Wood.
which was one of the
Giggity.
one of the our friend's favorite descriptors for a beer was this tastes like a lumberyard.
Ooh, who's that?
Dave Rosenkrantz.
Boom.
Rosie.
And he was funny because he actually, I don't think we were drinking a lumberyard beer at the time. He just actually said like that because it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's because of the sawdust, and we're like, I don't.
Sawdust?
We never got anything from, I don't know.
Not picking up on these sawdust notes, David.
No, but super cool. I mean, it's again nice that we actually have a local brewery, Lumberyard, actually can some more beers. So it seems that they're expanding more of their stuff too. So again, Flagstaff, it's. I would say this. I like Flagstaff. I like Flagstaff that actually has a lot of beers. Mother Road's great. Historic is really good. They've actually put up some good beers.
Mother Road's amazing.
Right. So nice that they actually start canning some of their beers. I mean, Historic actually just their Pie Hole Porter and
good stuff.
350, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
They're expanding their actually bottle line or their barrel aging program, so that should be really cool. What else is going on? What else is going on in the news, guys?
Nothing that I know of at this point. I'm low on news stories.
It's the end of the year, so like you said, they have all those lists out there right now. But for real news stories, I can't really think of anything.
I mean, really, just plans for the new year to drink new beer.
We got a lot of stories here. We got a lot of stories,
drink
guys.
new beer, drink good beer.
So one of my favorite stories I actually saw in the last couple of days was New Holland and Pabst is actually teaming up in a partnership.
I saw that note.
New Holland actually, if you never had their beers before, they actually had a beer that's a bourbon barrel aged stout called Dragon's Milk.
Dragon's Milk.
Okay.
It's phenomenal. It's from Michigan, New Holland. So I fucking love that stuff. And I'm glad that they're actually, I mean, they team with the Pabst, which is like,
we can see what happened there.
But they are Pabst is actually one of the oldest private brewery in the U.S.
I did not know that.
PBR.
Right. It's PBR. Yeah, one of
it's still privately owned.
Right, they're privately owned. So that alone, I mean, it's one of those like, it's PBR. But again, they're not necessarily big beer at this point. So they're teaming up kind of for the distribution. They still control the stuff they normally do. I mean, Pabst actually just basically gets a percentage off of the distribution sales from the rest of the country. They actually came to California recently, so I was hoping they could come here. We haven't seen anything yet, but with this, hopefully we'll actually start seeing some of the Dragon's Milk and some of their New Holland beers. Actually, some really good beers in their lineup. So
that's the one thing about big beer getting involved with breweries. You typically start to see it. You'll start to go to larger restaurants. You start to see it pop.
Much like your Mosaic from St. Archer.
Exactly.
Right. That's why we're seeing a lot more of that now.
And it makes me happy and it makes me sad. But, the sad is just a fear of change. So good for them. Because it is, the distribution aspects of those purchases and those partnerships are unmistakable. They are valuable. Now, what happens in the long run is always to be seen.
Right. I think that's the biggest thing with all those buy-ups. At some point, even when the brewery goes, hey, we're going to leave you alone, at some point the ROI is going to come into effect, right?
It's time. It's
right.
just a matter of time.
At some point, the ROI is going to come back in, and somebody's going to go, hey, you know what? We got to step in. You're not making enough money for us.
Yeah, there's no way they're not going to just take some of these breweries for the brand.
Right.
It's not going to happen. It's not possible.
So kind of brings me back to an earlier point that I had, or not earlier point, but earlier bullet point I want to talk about was kind of the trends in craft beer that you guys saw. So what are some trends that you saw in craft beer or actually saw people doing that you thought was kind of started picking up steam this year?
An inevitable trend, at least in the West, is, I mean, these, and I don't mean to knock it, but because I love it, but you got to make an IPA, you got to have a good IPA. I think somebody said that a little while ago. These new breweries that pop, you got to have a good IPA.
It's true.
That's number one. It's got to be at the top of the list. It needs to be good, and that's usually an indicator. I mean, don't get me wrong, it doesn't have to be, but that's a trend. I mean, a lot of these breweries are making good West Coast IPAs. I'm sure West Coast IPAs pop up across the country, let alone here. But
right.
I feel like the IPA is like really what you build your brewery around.
Right.
Like if you don't have a good IPA, then you're really not gonna be able to sell your beer.
It's a lot of hopheads that start at a
anymore. Everybody's looking for the next IPA. So unless you can do something good, something different, and we keep going back to modern times, but I feel like they are like the trendsetters right now.
Oh yeah.
With like we keep saying the word, the juice bombs.
Yeah.
And it's the extra hazy, extra hoppy, just.
And that's been big in California for a few years now, but we're finally catching the wave.
Right.
We're finally catching the end of it.
Yeah.
But no, I agree.
Just IPA all up in you.
Yeah.
I think the juicy for sure, like a juicy hazy IPA is kind of
that is
happening
finally
this year,
getting here,
which is nice.
But it's a trend though too. I feel like that's gonna like peak at some point during the next year, and then it's gonna.
I think it's already peaked in California.
Oh, I'm sure.
You're starting to. It's making its way here, but I'm sure it's already peaked in California.
Oh yeah, it sure has.
Don't get me wrong. IPAs are always going to be big, but no, brewers want to make other beers.
I think that's why
they want to make good other beers.
I think that's why somebody like Avery went into this new, botanical and barrel series because they want to expand.
You know, they want to get something different out there. They want to get something new out there, but also keep along the lines of what they've always been doing.
Yep.
And so
No, absolutely.
they're huge in the barrel age.
I mean, did they stop the Dictator series? I mean, can you not buy that beer
for
anymore?
now.
Right, yeah, it's
for
gone.
now.
That takes nuts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And honestly, that takes nuts.
But they'll bring it back. That's the thing.
Oh,
Like,
I'm sure.
everything's
If things
circular.
if things start to get bad, they're going to bring it back. But still, I mean,
But you got to try something new.
You do.
And obviously,
You do.
like this tangerine quad that we had tonight was really tasty. And even for a barrel aged,
and I
you
wouldn't have
enjoyed
bought
it.
it. And I wouldn't have bought it, but I enjoyed it.
Right.
So then my things
Now I'll
were,
buy it.
I think for sure sour beers. Actually, I feel like picking up some more steam this year. They actually
yeah.
a lot more sours
Oh, yeah.
coming out.
Sour beers in general have changed, though, over the years. Like when you and I were talking about this, Chris, the other day, because we had the Tart of Darkness.
Right.
And when I remember having the original Tart of Darkness, probably 2013,
Right.
it was so tart that I didn't even want to finish the glass that I had. But having the Tart of Darkness now, they've toned it down. You know, so they've kind of...
Or you've changed.
Right.
Well,
exactly.
or my palate's changed, but I feel like it was
super likely.
But I'm not still that into sours that
Yeah.
like I don't feel like my palate has changed that much, but I feel like it was a lot more drinkable than it originally was.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously palates do change over
Oh,
time.
yeah.
So over 3 years,
more
my palate could
complex.
have
They do.
more refined. Yeah, but
Seriously.
I mean, I feel like there was it's definitely a lot more tolerable than it was, and I feel like that's the way sours are going. They're sour, but they're not as tart.
There's nothing we want to do more than make a beer that's tolerable.
But you know what I'm
Hold on.
That was
T-shirt
the
3.
goal.
T-shirt 3.
It's tolerable.
But I'm just saying, like, if
I
you want to bring in more people,
I'm with you.
If you want to bring in more consumers, you'll make your beer more drinkable.
Oh yeah, you'll make it to where absolutely no, I totally agree.
So I feel like, you know, especially with the Tart of Darkness from the brewery, when I originally had it, there was no way I felt like I was going to be able to finish a glass.
Yeah.
But now it's very drinkable beer.
Yeah.
But it's
Hear you.
still sour. It still has
Oh,
that
yeah.
sour quality to it.
No doubt about it.
So I feel like, yeah, sours are on the rise, but they're
Sours
more
are
of a
on the rise.
consumer friendly.
And people's minds are way more open. I mean, there's people going into breweries trying beers they would never try before because they just know, hey, it's craft, hey, it's new, hey, it's something I want to try. So some people I think breweries are making more sours because people are trying them.
Right. I think
They're not just seeing the word sour and saying gross.
Yeah, I think the growth of craft beer in general has led to that. I think that their ability to actually experiment and do different things and actually try different beers,
And
like the
people
sour
being
beers.
willing to then
right.
dive in after you've done that.
Exactly. I think that helps a lot with the growth of sours and the trend, at least.
Yeah.
I would agree with you. I think that your taste buds have changed over the years, even if it's not necessarily that you drink.
Even if you're
a lot
not
of sours.
diving into more sours, I would say it's just that
The
like,
different-
you just drink a lot of beer.
It's more tolerable for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And again, I
you've
think
had
that's-
in the think about it. And you said 2013. Was it?
That's just throwing out
just
a
a rough
date.
year. Okay.
That's just
Regardless,
throwing out a date.
Think about how many shitty beers you've had between now and then that really worked your palate over. You know what I mean? I mean, like I said, it's all about what you think, but still, no. They could have changed it.
Yeah, I mean
what they do.
that's what I think. I think that everybody grows, you change, you grow. I mean, like I said, it's 3+ years now, maybe more. Palates change, things change. I mean, there's a lot of things I didn't like when I was younger that I love now too.
Oh,
So
yeah.
and my beer taste shift year to year.
When
Like,
I
go from
when I met you, there was a frig ton of beers I wouldn't touch, but now it's 5-6 years later. There's nothing I won't touch. It's just not necessarily mean I'm going to like it, but I'll try it now, and I can dig into a lot of beers I couldn't 5 years ago. A lot of beers.
right. It's just this my beer tastes kind of like pendulum from year to year. Like I could go from a real hoppy year to a real stout year
Yeah.
to a real kind of in the middle stuff. It all kind of depends. And I thought that was really cool. Like how stouts. There's a lot more stouts getting released. That was my thing. Is there's a lot more. I'm sorry, stouts, sours. A lot more sours getting
excuse me.
released.
Yes.
So
You said stout, I heard sour.
sorry.
No problem.
I love sours. I mentioned they've been growing a lot more on me. I think when we talked the other day too about it was that when we drank the Tart of Darkness, at that point, even then it was. I don't really like sours, but I'll definitely try it and we'll drink it. And now I love sours. Actually, I
what it's all
seek them
about.
out. So
Yeah.
before that, I mean, our friend was really into sours. Again, Rosencrantz was really into sours, and we he would drink them and we would try them, and it was like, that's okay. I could drink a jip of it, but I couldn't drink a whole beer.
Yeah.
And now I'll drink a whole goddamn
Oh yeah.
fucking bottle by myself. It's not a big deal. So, I think that's one thing that I love that.
Absolutely.
The other big thing I thought this year, and you guys talked about a little bit, was fruit in IPAs.
I find that is a downward trend that has to stop. I mean, if you're creating a fruity flavor with a hop blend all day, no problem. I mean, if you're go ahead.
No, I was gonna say my point was that it was definitely a very rapid rise for IPAs with fruit, and it's a very fast downfall at this point. But there was a lot of IPAs that had a lot of fruit. Good. And I'm looking at Ballast Point for one. They are the king of...
I believe they started it. I mean, not that they started, but
their
they really
Sculpin.
They were the first ones that really put it out there.
Right.
And I didn't like that beer. If you took if you took whatever additive you did there for the grapefruit out of it, I bet it's freaking awesome IPA. I'm sure it's just their Sculpin.
Sculpin's really good.
Excuse me, it is their Sculpin. It's a grapefruit Sculpin. But regardless, that's a trend that has to die, because if you're creating a nice juicy flavor, or if you're creating a really specific flavor with a blend of hops, whatever, you're just making it taste super grapefruity by whatever hop blend, whatever you work with to make it taste that way, it's fine. But like we tasted the modern times, this Dragoon IPA, whatever floral notes or fruit notes you're creating
from the hops themselves.
That's what I mean. From whatever hop blend you're creating your fruit, that's fine by me.
Right. So
but
when
you're taking grapefruits and you're squeezing them into your blend, get it out of here.
So my thought is that how much of, especially since it's Ballast Point, how much of that is pressure from the actually people that bought them out, or how much is that actually them just hopping on a trend?
That was before they got bought out, though.
But they've this last year, the last 2 years, they feel like they've been on this train of just like, let's take one of their beers and let's add a fruit to it, and then let's add another fruit to it. Let's add another.
I'm with you on that. I think it's a situation of pleasing a certain crowd.
Right. Well, as I said, I think it's one of those. It was like, hey, this beer is really hot right now. Let's try to get as much out of it as possible.
Hess followed up with the grapefruit immediately.
Right. Everybody's done their grapefruit.
Right.
Yeah, really. But not everybody, but a few standouts have. Yeah. And so I liked Hess's idea of a grapefruit IPA.
Yeah, the Solus, I believe it was.
No, that was Huss. I'm talking about local Hess.
No, you have that backwards.
Yep.
Okay, excuse me.
Hess.
Flip them.
Okay, I'm talking Mike Hess. That's right. I'm talking local Huss. Okay. My bad. The Huss did a grapefruit IPA.
Gotcha.
That I enjoyed.
Again, it's this more, grapefruit and tangerines and whatever, orange citrus stuff. Like it's in fruit, like in the beer, and you enhance the flavor with some of it, or if you throw a ton in there, whatever. But I'm talking about we had a watermelon. We had, even flavored beers in general. I can't say
anything bad about that watermelon.
Like fruit. I understand fruit is one thing, but I'm talking about flavors, right? So
flavors.
We start going into
overall flavoring your beer is a bad idea, right?
We got the peppermint. We have
So it's just, it was definitely after they got bought out, but that's when Ballast Point did their watermelon Dorado, the mango even keel. They started.
Yeah, what the fuck?
They started messing with the Victory at Sea with the peppermint, and now the peanut butter, and now the coconut.
That's not cool, man.
That's when I feel that's when they started. I feel like the grapefruit was prior to them going out, but I see what you're saying is that you start experimenting with one thing, it leads to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
You just spouted off 4 different fruit versions of their beer they did. Or flavor. Peppermint Victory at Sea. I'm glad I never saw that.
So here's the deal:
that's outraging.
Is the difference being?
The peppermint wasn't bad. It wasn't overly. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't.
I loved your face when you said that. It wasn't bad.
I've had some peppermint beers that were like, that was a lot of peppermint. But the peppermint Victory at Sea was actually it did enhance the flavor. Nicely.
We're talking shit about it, but apparently that one wasn't bad.
Well, my thought was that. Is it a big deal that it's one beer? Like they basically took one idea of a beer and then they fucking just flavored the shit out of it. Everything under the sun they could fucking just throw at it. They fucking threw at it. Would it be different if they changed the beer up? Was it
Should have been a new beer, in my opinion. Should have been a brand new beer.
Right, exactly. So if they didn't
Brewed
say
a different way with a different hop bill, different grain bill, should have been a whole different beer called the Grapefruit called the Grapefruit IPA from, I don't think they need to take the Sculpin, they don't need to take the El Dorado, they don't need to take the Victory at Sea. Those are good beers.
Right, that's my thought.
Shouldn't be effed with.
Were they piggybacking off of the popularity of the Sculpin or Victory at Sea or whatever else, and then just throwing a flavor on top of it to...
In my uneducated opinion, I think so.
But I feel like that's what Ballast Point was doing before they got bought out. Like, I've been to the brewery
with the jalapenos,
the jalapeno, the Serrano. Right. They had,
it was their thing.
They were dabbling.
I guess
in
I just
different
don't
things.
like their thing.
Now it's just more widespread.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Hey,
what do?
I mean, at the same time, that there's other breweries that do the same thing. Great Divide has their Yeti line. So their Yeti line...
I don't know why that feels different, but...
It does, right? It feels a little different to me, too.
But the Great Divide's Yeti line is like, barrel-aged. I mean, name them all, Brandon.
Well, they're all barrel aged, but it's the oak aged. There's the espresso. There's the
coffee
chocolate.
Bean.
Well,
I don't know why coffee bean feels, but when you add coffee to a beer, it feels different to me. But it does. So I mean, that's not. But go ahead.
The espresso is the coffee.
The espresso.
So the oak aged, the espresso, the chocolate, and the oatmeal. So they have 4. It's quarterly
anywhere in there.
But it's the same thing though. It's taking one beer and making it different in different aspects.
Right, and so
it is the same.
So
and
here's
no, go ahead, but yeah.
Right, no, and that's the thing too. Is it's one of those things where a lot of times the variations you see at breweries usually happen in a small batch at the brewery, right? So you see a mango FYTIM, right? You see those kind of things. You see these weird small batches that happen at the brewery, but for Ballast Point or other places, you've seen them do a lot more of those variants in a mass production kind of scale. So, I mean, is that itself a bad thing for everybody, or is it actually not that bad of a thing at all? Because we actually get to taste those variations that normally you wouldn't get to see. But at the same time, I get I
like the variations on Great Divides.
Right.
They feel natural.
Right, but
fruit doesn't feel natural, I guess.
The problem is that if I didn't get to taste a Great Divide that wasn't an espresso, but only at the brewery, it'd be unique and something like, special.
Right.
But now since they've been doing it with all their beers, at this point, it doesn't feel like anything. And those special 4 beers that they make once a quarter is a little bit better. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I want to say that I love that I can be able to drink some of those beers, but at the same time, it's like you basically made something that's special and you just fucking gave it to everybody in the world.
But it was along the same lines with what you said about Distill earlier. Right. That's the same thing. How many different sour beers are they dabbling with now? Right. They're sour stout. They're plum sour stout. They're raspberry. They're cherry. Well,
you're talking about 2 different issues here. You're talking about limited selection, and you're talking about
But even their sour series is 3 different beers,
variations,
and those 3 different beers have variations on them,
right?
And those variations sometimes happen at the brewery. And again, I understand I love the ability that their variations are limited at a brewery, and I also love that actually I have the accessibility and I can actually get to them. So it's just very I walk in a fine line between the two. I don't want them to go away, but at the same time I want them to be rare.
Speaking to your point though, if say the Grapefruit Sculpin was never produced mass, and every time you went to Ballast Point you could have the Grapefruit Sculpin,
I would drink the Grapefruit Sculpin at an IPA, but I would still enjoy the regular Sculpin.
No, I agree. I just think that I understand Chris's point of once you make that mass availability, it kind of gets viewed in a different way.
I mean, does it lose its luster?
It's two different. You're talking about 2 different things there about its availability versus what it is, and then just why you're doing it.
But is that like what Avery was doing, and then discontinued one of their lines because it was?
That takes nut what Avery did.
But it's the same thing though. It's like they were doing something for an amount of time, and now they're not doing it anymore. Now they're bringing another line in, it's new. You know what I mean? Exactly. It's new. It's not.
But Avery's jumping on they have a tangerine quad at this point. So they're jumping on a fruit IPA, or not really fruit or IPA, but more of a fruit beer in general.
Agreed.
It's just one of those things where
you could debate it all day. But
we can sit there.
No, it is. It's something to debate. It's debate worthy.
It really is. I mean, that's
Put a little period. It's totally debatable.
And we are the master debaters.
Yes, we are very good at it. So, no, I can see everybody's point, and once and like you said, Chris, once something's mass available, it's not really special anymore.
And that's my only problem with it is not.
You're more open to it when it's special. You're like, ooh, let me try this.
Right. As much as the beers that you can't get from other places that you really want to try on Instagram.
Yeah.
Those beers are really special because you can't get them.
And if I were to fly to New York and try them tomorrow, every one of them would be a 5-star
right.
on tap. But if you were to put 400 of them in my face, I might rate them a little differently.
Yeah. But if you couldn't get those beers,
like I can't,
right? So I mean, I guess it's just the hard part of being mass distributed is because those beers are available to you.
It is,
and so when we do
pedestal,
right? So like because we can now get modern times, which we've been talking about all night. Will it go down in
quality? In our minds.
Right. Exactly. In 2 years, will modern times not be that beer for you?
But that's a good point though. We talked about how Two Hearted actually, to me at least, is a better. It's the thing where you have Heady Topper, you have Russian River, Pliny, and you actually have Two Hearted, and there's always in the top 3 to 5 IPAs in America, right? We can't get 2 of those beers on a regular basis here.
Nope.
So for me, Two Hearted is always going to be a better IPA because I can get that at any grocery store in Arizona. So at the same time, is that exclusivity great or is it not great? But does it help with that kind of stuff? I mean,
exclusivity does help, but it doesn't make. It doesn't make you beer. By any shape of the mind. But no, I wouldn't. Like, what was the beer you just used as an example?
Two Hearted.
Two Hearted.
Right.
Two Hearted's too malty for me these days. You know what I mean? Is that weird as that sound?
But you like Pliny though.
Love it.
Exactly.
Completely different beer though.
But
along the same lines of just the exclusive IPA.
Agreed. No, exactly. But yeah. But when you put those two next to each other, in my opinion, one is better.
Well, there's no judging that. It's the matter of which ones.
That reminds me. Remember that big case of Pliny I brought back and just handed you one?
I know.
I just fucking handed you one.
I know. Yeah.
And we're sitting over here arguing about 4 ounces of Blam Blam. Sorry, guys. Just keep going. Sorry. Just keep on rolling. I just remember.
And that was to honor your newborn baby, Olivia.
Okay. Heady Toppers. Many Heady Toppers have come.
Hey, Heady Topper was
Uncle
a part
Gus.
of a bottle share.
Yes, thanks, Uncle Gus. But everybody got one single can. Bottle shares in my house are serious.
I remember that.
I love you guys. It's all right.
They are serious, guys. So, with that note, let's wrap this up, guys.
Let's wrap it up. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for another kick-ass podcast. I'll be back again, I'm sure.
Definitely.
As long as I'm allowed in the apartment, I'm sure I'll be the Be Rich Studios.
Be Rich Studio. Beautiful downtown Mesa.
Yeah,
no, it's not even downtown.
Uptown Mesa.
Yeah.
Uptown girls.
No, thanks, guys.
But no, so let's go through our thanks, man. So first off, we want to thank Liquor Express, man. Those guys have hooked us up.
Kyle, Liquor Express, when he's texting you, IMing you, messaging you about new beers coming in, that's a good hookup to the.
Yeah, nice hook up there.
So we appreciate you, Kyle. Thank you for everything you guys do over there at
Kyle.
Liquor Express.
It was Kyle. I said that was Kyle. See, I said something mean last time.
Don't ruin the tribute.
No,
man.
I don't even know. I'm sure Kyle's a great guy. I'm not even. I wouldn't dare say anything mean to me.
There was no sarcasm in that at all.
No, I wouldn't dare say anything mean about somebody who provides us our beer. That's a very serious job.
Throw a punch.
And for a guy who texts you and lets you know about the new brews, that's a good dude.
Yeah. Got the hookup over there at Liquor Express for sure. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it.
So yeah, Bottle Shop 48, we got to thank out to those guys for sure. They hook us up a lot. I go there a bunch and talk to them. Really cool place. Dave, actually, his wife been there. She got him a Christmas gift there this last holiday season. So it was really nice for them to help her out and find out a beer that he would love and help her out. So,
and since we're just thanking all our favorite bottle shops, I'll thank GCM and City Wine. Nice. Out there in East Mesa, City Wine.
We don't get out the GCM as much as we used to, but we do love you, Chris, out there at GCM.
I love those guys' dad. I saw him last Saturday. Dude was rocking a suit, looking good. He had cowboy boots on. That guy's a fucking badass.
I went to GCM on Christmas
Gilbert
Eve.
Convenience Mart, by the way.
Yep.
GCM Gilbert Convenience Mart.
It was a bad idea on Friday to go to GCM.
Oh my gosh, was it mobbed?
It was
trying to get through downtown Gilbert.
Yeah, downtown Gilbert was mobbed.
That's the problem. There you go. I was gonna say.
Yeah, that was bad news. But yeah, you said that Sunshine Mart, which is over that way too, right?
Yeah. The Shell, Shell gas station down there at the end of Gilbert Road. If you can, they're awesome. But yeah, GCM and City Wine.
City Wine.
Thank you.
City Wine. all the beers here. So Dragoon, gotta thank these guys out.
Thanks for Dragoon. We
Top-notch
we
IPA.
love you. Thanks to Modern Times. Thanks to Wilderness as per usual.
And Avery.
And Avery.
Some hand jobs.
Chris
from
is
Virginia.
doing some double fisting or...
We call that the Dutch rudder.
Whoa.
You work my arm, I work your arm together.
Thanks.
I thought it was called slalom skiing. I just actually ski twice.
I mean, if it's just if you're being selfless like that, yeah,
Whoa.
you're good to go.
So thank all the brewers we actually drank this week. Gotta love you guys. Thanks for making it possible and drink your beers.
Yeah.
So again, thanks to listeners. We'll
thanks a
actually,
lot.
Brandon, where can they listen to us and find us on?
Well, you can listen to us on, I guess now, Google.
Yeah, Google Play Music.
Google Play Music. We are on Stitcher. We are on the iTunes.
Yes.
We are on, well, you can listen to us through our WordPress for
Right.
the blog that we do there. And then SoundCloud now. Yes.
And then, no joke, I downloaded the app Podcast. I don't even know the name of the application, but there's a good Android app for podcasts, and you can pick up the Hoppy Craftsmen immediately. You can subscribe on there immediately.
Any kind of your podcast, your favorite podcast catcher, your RSS feed catcher.
Podcast Addict, that's the name of the app.
Yeah, exactly. We can pull up on any of those kind of things,
Yep,
so that's
Podcast
great too.
Addict on Android. Pick up Hoppy Craftsmen immediately.
Right, so WordPress.com. Or
check us out on the
Craftsmen.
Facebook. We're on Instagram, mostly on Instagram anymore.
Yep.
We follow a lot of people on Instagram.
And
We
follow
post
the
a lot of things
and
on
follow
Instagram.
the WordPress blog. Articles incoming. And check out the check out that Lost Abbey cooler. Go buy one.
And then Nate has that for $25 or $50 gift card to Four Peaks.
It's 25 or 50, and we'll
first
figure out a
person-
giveaway on that.
First person
out a
to
giveaway on
actually
that.
comment on
No, it's got to be better than that. But we'll figure out a giveaway for that.
That sounds good, man. We'll figure it out.
It'll be fun.
All right.
Hoppy Craftsmen stuff.
All right, guys.
Later.
So next episode, listen on. So I'm Chris.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Nate.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.